All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. So, what I'm going to call this podcast is forgetting about the law of attraction, the key to it. Now, what's interesting is a long time ago, I did a podcast called "Is the Law of Attraction Legit or Full of Shit?" And I still think to this day it's my most downloaded, or at least my most listened to, I think. Not only on my podcast, but maybe even on YouTube. And I used to love the law of attraction and all that stuff. I kind of still do. I'm just not into it like I was, like, say, a decade ago. And I do like a lot of things about it. I also think there's a lot of things that are kind of bullshitty in it too. But regardless, I definitely think people, believing that they deserve certain things and they're willing to go out and work for them, or they believe in themselves, and, all that works. But I was going back and forth with somebody that I met in the gym regarding my podcast and stuff, and they were bringing up the law of attraction and stuff, and I was like, oh man, I kind of forgot about this. I don't think about it. I used to watch videos on it. I used to love to follow everybody in The Secret and Rhondabyrne and all those people. Proctor. I'm not going to sit here and start naming everybody, but I'm connected actually with a lot of them on LinkedIn too. I was able to email or message them, and they seem like really wonderful people, but I kind of forgot about the law of attraction. Sometimes when I go into Barnes & Noble's, which I was there yesterday, I used to even go to the law of attraction, and I would see what new book Rhonda Byrne had, if it was Magic or The Power or whatever, along with everybody else from not only Tony Robbins, but I like that type of book to read, I guess you could say, when I was in Barnes & Noble's to fill out. If I wasn't writing my book, I used to like reading things. Not only them, but other people as well. I'd like to read their books. But I was thinking, I believe no matter what about the law of attraction, you got to take action. I don't care if you sit on your bed for the rest of your life. If things are going to come your way, you're full of shit. It's not going to most likely happen. I'm just telling you. So put some action behind what you believe you deserve and start making things happen. But what I want to talk about here is kind of, and I'm not saying this is what happened to me, but I do think a lot of times when people start thinking about the law of attraction or studying it, reading about it, watching videos on it, following kind of that whole mental type thing, I guess, you're always thinking about it. It's almost like a religion to a certain degree when, I was raised in a very, strong Catholic household where religion is constantly being talked about, prayers, going to church, going to Bible study, along with, maybe you're reading the Bible or having Bible studies, going to different places besides just church, functions, benefits, St. Joseph tables, the list goes on. It's always being discussed. It's a huge part of your life. And unless you're somebody who hangs out with a lot of people with the law of attraction, it's kind of more independent. I mean, sure, you'll talk about it here and there, right? But for the most part, you're kind of independent on that thing. And I was thinking, if you think about the law of attraction, right, you read and you learn about it, it's time to kind of just not always be, I think, thinking about it from the standpoint of like, okay, today everything's going to go my way, or I'm deserving this, or I expect this, or I'm moving my mindset to believing all these things. I say just kick it in the ass and go. It's attack kind of mode. But there's a difference between attack and chase, in my opinion. The law of attraction is great, I think, for really telling people, if you want things in your life, you deserve them. I really do think, and as long as you get them in the right way. I mean, you could break the law and do whatever you got to do. But if a lot of people don't think they deserve things, or they don't think they can accomplish things, and they don't have the belief in themselves, where I think the law of attraction kind of incorporates that, which I think is wonderful. But you have to understand, once you start feeling, you do deserve things, it is time not to wait, but to attack. Okay? And when I say attack, I mean going after what your desires are. Not, again, waiting for your desires. Now, some things may just happen, don't get me wrong. Some, the more you believe in it, the more things may come your way, sure. But I do think you putting yourself at the right place at the right time is what really has to happen. A lot of times that does take a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of time. If you want to become a millionaire, most likely, that's not most likely, just because you believe you're going to be a millionaire, maybe if you go play lotto and you hear those stories, but most likely it's going to not be simple for most people, because if everybody believed they'd be a millionaire, we'd all be millionaires. It's kind of a little ridiculous. But if you do believe you deserve that and you start figuring out how you're going to make your millions, start figuring out a game plan, figuring out how to network, maybe figuring out maybe how to get more money to invest or whatever your plan is, it's going to take action. And, that's what I think, if there's anything to learn about the law of attraction to me, is kind of forget about it. Learn it and move on. Now, again, maybe it works better for you if you're always thinking about it because that's something that you feel like that's magnetic or that's what brings things to you. If that's your thing, then that's your thing. But I think, and it's not even bad to do once in a while or every day for a certain amount of time. But if you're sitting around for hours and hours and hours kind of programming yourself that if you keep saying in your mind or you keep believing these things, that's good. But you could be using a lot of that time to be actually going after and figuring out how to get what you want, not waiting for what you want. Big difference to me. And again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. There's a difference between attacking or just pursuing, I should say, than chasing. Because I think a lot of people also, they believe, say, in the law of attraction or something in that nature, but they're still chasing. They're always chasing something. Like they don't have really a game plan. They're not creating anything. They're not creative. They're not working any harder. They're not doing any of these things. It's just like saying, I believe I'm going to be a millionaire, and then you go out and buy a lotto ticket every day. And again, that may happen. Your odds are very against it, but again, it has worked for people. A lot of things work for a lot of people, but you understand a lot of more things, I should say, don't work for people. So you have to analyze that for every person that read, and you've probably seen it in the book or you've seen it, in videos. Like, I believed I'd be a millionaire. I went and, I went and got a lotto ticket and I became a millionaire. Well, I can assure you I don't know how many people read The Secret, say it's 50 million people, I can assure you that didn't happen to probably a majority of the million. So I'm just telling you, so you have to come up with another game plan. And again, I don't mean chase. So I think it's the chasing people kind of get caught up with. And even I remember when in the old days, hearing about that. What do they use for an example? A feather or something in the book and they look for signs that the law of attraction is coming your way. You want something, you think about it a lot, and then it comes, right? I think that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I do think, again, there comes a point where when you up the game and you truly want things to be game changers, you can't live in a fantasy. And, you can live in a fantasy mentally, but if you want to live in that life physically, there's a big difference, all right? I'm just telling you. So really think about that. And I just thought I would do a quick podcast on this because it came up again. I was like, wow. And I've looked back from when I was studying the law of attraction and to now in all the things I've kind of completed. So maybe internally I believed that I could do all these things and I could still do them. That could go for traveling or creating my program or writing books and all these things that I've done since I learned about The Secret. Actually, I wasn't, for the last, say, 6-7 years or whatever the case may be, I kind of just quit reading about it and I quit watching videos on it. But it kind of sent me on a path that and it did work for me as far as me doing and getting a lot of things I wanted to get. Does that mean everything? Not necessarily. But I kind of figured out, too, what I truly wanted and not bullshitted myself. And I'm going to wrap it up with this. If you are somebody who wants a lot, which I think a lot of people do, you understand there's a cost at a lot sometimes. I think people think a lot of things can just come to them. And when they get those things, it's just going to be hunky-dory and it's going to be beautiful for the rest of their life. But getting a lot of things in your life or wants is maintain. You have to maintain those things. So that's something that I don't think a lot of people think about, especially when it comes to possessions. It could be a big home you've always wanted, a certain type of car. It could be just a certain lifestyle. You got to understand, it's how do you maintain that as well. And back to the lottery, as you know, or lotto, whatever you want to call it, most people I think that win the lottery end up even in a worse position financially, I think, statistically, than they were before. A lot end up spending a lot more money. They get in a lot more trouble with taxes, or, they can't maintain, or they spend too much money before you know it. All these things kind of happen because they don't really know how to make money or sustain or how to invest correctly, all those different types of things. So just things to think about. That's all. All right, I am going to wrap it up there. You got any questions or comments, hit me up, Rich CELENZA. And if you want, like I said, I think it's called I'd like to go back and listen to that because I think that's about 2.5 years ago. The podcast I did before. I think it's honestly called "Is the Law of Attraction Legit or Full of Shit?" Or did I call it "The Secret"? I can't remember. I think maybe "The Secret." I don't know. I used to call it "The Scream" too as a joke. Instead of keeping it a secret, everybody's kind of private. You want stuff. That doesn't mean you have to scream at people or yell at people, but you have to be vocal. You have to, most likely a lot of people, if you want to succeed in something, you're going to have to learn how to talk and how to, interact with people. And you could do it on your computer too, maybe through emails and stuff, but not be so secretive about your wants and needs. Kind of expose them. Tell people about them. Go after them. And because most likely you're going to need other people to help you succeed in life. You're going to need other people's connections. You may need other people's, it could be a bank or corporation's money to make you more money. All these things. So don't look at it as a secret. Look at it as a scream. So anyways, take care and I wish you all the best.